Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. And today our peak pose is going to be saddle or a half saddle to be more specific. So if you need extra pillows, folded blankets, bolster cushion, anything like that to prop you up a little higher when we go into those, depending on how your knees are, you can certainly bring those in. I will actually be doing a modified version of that today, and you're welcome to follow me. This particular practice, I'm going to give you different prompts and things to think about at the time of this recording. The United States is going through midterm elections, and we've got a lot going on with that. So I'm not going to be political here. I'm just going to kind of do some things to kind of shift the mood a little bit here, be a little bit less anxious, a little bit more positive. So let's start coming to a nice tall seat, and let's start with some nice breath work. So let's start with the Ujjayi pranayama, that victorious breath, that back of the throat constriction. You can do this on the inhale, on the exhale, or both the inhale and the exhale if you would like. And I'm just going to relax here. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to take a big exhale to prepare, and I'll start the breath. Expanding the rib cage and slowly exhaling. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. Let's do that with a counted breath. So let's go to the number 5. If that's not for you today, do what you can. Don't worry about it. But from here, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you've got the Ujjayi pranayama, I want you to stick with that. I can't talk and do that at the same time. That's why you're not hearing me do it. But that's what I want you to try to do if you can. If not, just breathe. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe normal for a moment. So we're going to do a clear and release. So we're going to inhale, and then I'm going to say clear and release. And I want you to think about any negativity, anything causing you anxiety. You're just clearing it away. You're just taking it away. Okay. So big inhale, clear. Inhale, release. Let's use that with hands. Inhale, clear. Inhale, release. Good. And that's something that I do throughout my day when I can't focus on something and different things are going on and I just need to clear. That's a great practice to have. All right, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, take it over to the left. And move through center, take it over to the right. Good. And coming back over to the left. Good. Maybe opening up here a little bit. Taking it back to the left, moving through center, taking it to the right. Staying here and maybe opening up a little bit. And coming back and coming back. I'm going to take my hands behind the head here. I'm just going to do gentle rotation from side to side. Good. So maybe today, say to yourself, I will limit activities that cause anxiety this week. I will limit activities that cause anxiety this week, aka watching the news, or drastically decreasing the amount that you watch. Good. And come back. Let's go into a little bit of a spinal roll here. Taking that into the other side. Good. And we're going to take this right into log stack. Some people call it fire log or double leg pigeon. I'm going to start by taking my left leg on the bottom. That's going to be my base leg. And my right leg's going to come on top. Good. Now, ideally, you want kind of the knees and the ankles to be in alignment here, and you don't want any space under here. However, if you're really tight, you will have space under here. And if that applies to you, take something soft and stick under there so you've got support if you need it. Okay. But from here, feet are in flexion to protect the knees. We're up nice and tall. Big inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. And when you can come no more with that long spine, take your hands down here. And we're going to be here and breathe for 2 minutes. And as with anything else, if you experience pain, numbness, tingling, burning, you want to back off until you don't. And as you exhale and settle in, if the body you'll know, wants to sink deeper and it's safe for you to do that, you can. And when I say you'll know, it's because the body's going to want to sink deeper on your exhale. So I will limit activities this week that cause me anxiety. You can practice the clear and release. Kind of look at it as a way of clear and releasing some stagnant or bad energy that's not serving you. So you can make way for more positive energies that will serve you. Good. Expand that rib cage, bring that ujjayi back in if you can. And from here, we'll carefully come up out of there. Good. As we undo the legs, let's come into a gentle windshield wiper here. So I'm going to take hands behind me, and I'm just going to rock, rock, rock side to side. How big or how small you take these depends on you and how you feel. And when you're ready, we're going to take that to the other side. So now whatever leg you had on top, for me, that was my right. That's going to now be your base leg, your bottom leg. Good. I'm going to take my left leg on top here. So again, if you've got space under here, fill that in. And I don't really have space, but I just feel really tight. So I'm just going to bring in a blanket here on this side, just because I know that's going to make that feel just a little bit better, a little bit more stable. And from here, big inhale, exhale, hinge forward, long spine, and then we'll take the arms down. Good. 2 minutes here. I accidentally hit the minute button, but we're not going to do 3. We're just going to do 2. So if you choose to engage in a lot of social media and news watching or listening this week, be mindful. Say this to yourself: I choose my words as I choose my actions and reactions. I choose my words as I choose my actions and reactions. Whether they're spoken or typed, you are in charge. Nobody makes you say anything. You are in control. So be mindful. Come back to the Ujjayi pranayama. Good. And then from here, we'll carefully come up from there. Good. I'm just going to move this blanket out of the way. Carefully undo. Find your little windshield wipers again. Hands coming behind. You can make small ones or big ones. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a child's pose here. So this is the first of two child's pose that we're going to do. This first one is going to be a couple minutes. The second one's going to be 3 minutes. So take any support that you need here. And for this first one, I'm actually going to bring in my bolster. And good. There we go. All right. So from here, I'm just going to take my knees as wide as my mat. I'm going to bring this bolster in here for a little bit more support. And so what I'm doing is I'm coming into child's pose, but the support is helping me not come back as deep as I normally would because we're going to be here for a couple minutes. Good. So about halfway through, if you're using a bolster or something similar to, I'll tell you when to switch your head to the other direction. You can come into the Ujjayi, maybe saying to yourself, I will take deep breaths today. I will take deep breaths today. Not just clear and release, just take some deep breaths today. If you choose social media today and you see something, take a deep breath before you respond. Being mindful, you choose your words, you choose your actions and reactions. Good. From here, we'll switch the head over if you're using a bolster. From here, hands under the shoulders, carefully bring yourself back up. Good. I'm going to take my bolster out of the way. I'll come back to that later. We're going to come to a seated twist. So for me to do this a little bit better, I'm going to take a folded blanket and I'm going to sit on it. And I'm going to show this to you from the side, just so you can see the back a little bit better. So from here, I'm going to start. I'm going to take my right leg long in front of me. I'm sitting on the edge of a blanket. You can take your left foot and just bring it in just like this, or you can cross it over. Okay, this is how I'm going to practice this one. This will also be a couple minutes on each side. But from here, I'm going to come up nice and tall. Big inhale. Exhale, I'm going to twist in the direction of the leg I have on top. So for me, that's the left. So I'm going to twist to the left. Okay. And remember when we're twisting here, good, we want to keep a long spine and we don't want to crank through the low back. So you should still be able to roll that back shoulder back a little bit. Breathe and expand that rib cage. Relax the front shoulder. So outside of the breath, how could you create more groundedness? What could you do to make you feel more grounded? So from here, carefully come out of there. We'll undo. Good. You can kind of shake out. And we're going to counter that by coming right into the other side. So from here, I'm going to reset myself, sitting up nice and tall. My left leg's going to be long this time. I'm going to bring my right foot in so you can be here or you can cross over. And then when you're ready with a tall spine, I'm going to twist towards my right. Good. I'm rolling my shoulders back. I'm looking a little bit behind me. Finding Ujjayi breath. And the clear and release, maybe. Taking those deep breaths. Both sits bones rooted and grounded. And from here, carefully coming back center. Yeah, just kind of wiggle out. Just kind of get some nice little neck circles going here. And when you're ready, we'll come to a wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to readjust this blanket. Readjusting myself. And this one's going to be a 3-minute one. Good. So this one will take the legs out wide. Good. So remember, you don't want to come to your widest. So for example, here's my widest. I'm going to bring those in a little bit so my body has somewhere in space to go. Feet are in flexion. If you're really tight in the backside, you want to keep a little bend in the knees. And so you don't have to think about that. You can put blankets or pillows or whatnot under there. So you've got that support. So be mindful of that. And when you're ready, let's take a big inhale. Exhale, hinging forward, long spine. And when you can come no more, hands are going to come down. Breathe and expand into that body. Good. As it's safe for you and your body wants to sink deeper, you can let it do that. Always do that on an exhale. What about I will take time for my self-care this week. I will take time for my self-care this week, which could be this practice, the yoga flow, the Pilates mat work practices. It could be one of the other videos here on YouTube. If the weather's nice, read a nice book that's not too deep on a deck or in a park. Maybe not necessarily thought of as self-care, but you'll notice my Christmas tree back here. So putting up your Christmas or holiday stuff early would make you feel a little bit happier, bring you some joy. Do it. Don't worry about what other people think. It's your living space. And then from here, when you're ready, carefully come up out of there. Good. I'm going to take my peace fingers behind my knees and bringing them back in. If you need to get any other little movement here that would feel good to you, take it. We're going to come belly down and come to a Sphinx here real quick, which I think will also feel really lovely. Now, remember in your Sphinx, some people need to be lifted a little bit in the pelvis, and you can do that with a folded blanket. And I'm actually going to do that today. I don't need to all the time, but I feel like I should today. So I'm going to take my blanket. Now I've got a folded blanket. I'm going to take my pelvic bones here right along the edge of this fold. Good. So now I've got a little bit of support that I need. We'll do this one for a couple minutes as well. So remember, Sphinx, hands can be down, legs are going to be hip width apart. I'm going to press in. I'm going to shine my heart forward, rolling shoulders back. Belly button is in. And maybe energetically taking elbows towards the belly button, even though they won't move. It's just a slightly different engagement. Find Ujjayi if you can. Clear and release. I will take deep breaths today, this week. So remember, if this becomes too much, or you can't maintain good form, come out. Good. From here, carefully come out of the Sphinx. Make a little recovery pillow with your hands. You can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. And just be here for a minute in this little crocodile. Clear and release. And from here, hands under the shoulders, and we'll come up. If you need to go into a little bit of a child's pose here for a moment, take that, because we're going to do this one for 3 minutes. So if you don't want to do another child's pose here, you can come back forward and just rest in that little relaxation pose there. Otherwise, I'm going to come back a little bit deeper now, and you can always bring in props here too if you need it. I'm going to breathe and expand, zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I will avoid things today and this week that cause me anxiety or extra anxiety. And from here, when you're ready, hands under the shoulders. Carefully come out of there. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to come into our peak pose, the half saddle. So for me, my knees and my body does better if I sit up on a folded blanket. And I never really know if my body is going to like it if I go backwards or not, but I highly recommend that you have support, especially if you're older or have had back injuries, something like that, or if you're just not sure, I wouldn't go back there. It can be really hard on the back going back there without support. So what I'm going to do here And I've even moved my blanket a little bit over just so that my foot doesn't get tangled up in it. But my left leg's going to come forward. I'm going to roll to my side. I'm going to take my right foot back here. Good. Now, for some of you, just one folded blanket might be enough. Maybe you need to be higher. We don't want this knee to float and bounce around, okay? And if you're feeling a lot of pulling or any kind of pain here, you want to be up higher too. That'll lessen that. And if you feel pain here, you obviously don't want to go back. So from here, we'll do this one for 3 minutes. And I like to kind of be up here for the first part before I attempt to go back. And I like to just kind of take, I call them kind of spider fingers, and just kind of go around the shin here. And maybe even the thighs, the calves, the tops of the feet. Now, ideally, you want kind of the hip bone and the knee to be close to alignment. Probably won't be perfect alignment. But if that's not where you are, you do what you can. Don't force your body into an alignment or to do something that it's not ready to do. There's some tight, sticky areas here. I'm just going to keep going in that spot. And so we're about at the halfway point. So if you want to stay here and do what you do, you can. If you want to attempt to go back, and some of you might just come back a little bit, supporting yourself with the hands. Some of you might come back a little bit more. I think I'm actually going to be able to do it today. Good. And so again, you don't want your knee to be floating in space, but I'm nice and supported here. I'm feeling a stretch, but there's no pain, numbness, tingling, or burning. And it's not stretching so much that I feel like something's going to rip. We never want that. You also want to be at ease in the body and in the breath when you come into something. That's also part of self-care, not causing yourself pain. So deep breaths. Remembering I choose what I say, I choose what I do, I choose how I react. So I will choose wisely. Good. From here, if you went back, carefully come out of there, never just snap out. We'll roll to the left side, release the right leg. Good. And then you can just kind of rub things out, bounce things out, do what you need to do here. If you need to move the spine a little bit, take that movement, and then we're going to take that on the other side. So from here, I'm just going to turn around in the other direction. So again, I'm moving my blanket over a little bit here just so that my foot doesn't get caught up in it. I'm still sitting up on a blanket, and you might learn that you need higher blankets on one side, but maybe not so much on the other. Your knees, your hips, everything's different from one side to the other. So do what you need to do there. So my right leg is going to be long. I'm going to roll over. I'm going to bend my left knee, taking that back here, sitting up nice and tall. Good. For 3 minutes, we'll be here, and I'm just going to rub again. So what this does, the purpose of me rubbing here, it kind of gets into the connective tissue, the fascia a little bit, kind of loosens things up a little bit. And it gets things less sticky. Makes it a little bit more comfortable. So again, asking yourself, what helps you become and stay grounded? What activities or do you helps you become or stay grounded? For me, that's the deep breath work, walking barefoot on the ground, we're about at the halfway point here. So you choose, are you going to stay here? And there's nothing wrong with that. Are you going to come back a little bit? Or are you going to come back a lot? So I think I can. There we go. Making sure that you're not floating with that knee. Lean back to your ujjayi. Oh, and when you're ready, carefully come up from there. Good. Rolling over to the side, releasing that leg. And you can rub, or bounce, bounce. Do what you need to do. If you need to move around here, you can. And when you're ready, we're going to come onto our backs. And I'm going to have my bolster kind of up towards the front, but within use, because I'm going to use it for Shavasana in a moment as well. But I'm going to take this folded blanket away. Good. And we're going to come, actually, I'm going to take this over here. Good. And we're going to come to a supine windshield wiper. And we're going to, once we get in, we'll do this for a couple minutes on each side as well. But for the moment, take your feet as wide as your mat and just start moving from side to side. Keep it gentle in the beginning. Belly button is in here to protect the low back. Good. Now, when you're ready, good. I'm going to let my knees travel over towards the left side. There's my left side. Left side. Good. Now, from here, for some of you, this is going to be it. Others are going to pick up the left foot, that ankle. It's going to go right above the left knee on the thigh. So you don't want to be on the knee joint. You want to be on the thigh. And you can kind of press a little bit, let it relax, and then back off. Relax a little bit and back off. Well, we'll be here for a couple minutes. This is a deep psoas opener. And you want to make sure that nothing funny is happening on that right side. So the right low back, right hip, right knee, everything needs to feel okay here. If not, remove that foot and just come to basic windshield wiper. You want to keep the shoulders grounded here. And from here, carefully undo. Come back to center. Good. Now we're going to windshield wiper to each side. If you need to stretch something out long, let yourself do that. Give your body what it needs. And then actually, before we go to the next one, let's just kind of come into almost like a corpse pose. Just kind of open a little bit here. If that's not good for your back, keep a little bend in the knees. And then when you're ready, we're going to take that to the other side. So bending the knees, go ahead, starting that windshield wiper. And then when you're ready, we'll take that over to the right. So remember, you can stay here, or you can take the right ankle right above that left knee. Careful not to go too deep, too fast if you're going that. And if you can't keep any funny business from happening on the low back, the hip, the left knee, back off. We'll take deep breaths today. I will engage in activities that help me become and remain grounded. And we'll try to avoid those activities that make me feel anxious and ungrounded. I will remember that I choose my words, my actions, and reactions. Good. And from here, carefully release. Coming back to center, you can start to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle again. If you need to stretch something long, listen to your body and give it what it needs. And we're going to come into that corpse pose here, that Shavasana. So I'm going to take a blanket myself and use it for a neck cushion. And then taking my bolster, placing under my legs here for another little cushion. And then I'm going to grab another blanket and I'm going to place that right along my pelvis here, because this is also helps with grounding, just having that little light weight here. And then when you're ready, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable than where you are now. Good. Sinking in. Good. Sinking into that heart space. Maybe coming back to clear and release. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or carefully move the fingers and the toes. Choosing stillness or moving any little weight that you may have put along your pelvis, taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body lowered or maybe lifted into a full body hug. And then from here, whenever you're ready, moving any props out of the way that you may have used during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex the feet, bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And whenever you're ready, carefully bending on both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here, and when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat where we started our practice. Taking a moment to notice how we feel. One last time, we're going to do a clear and release. Big inhale. Exhale, clear. Inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale, arms up overhead, touching palms to the forehead for good and true thoughts. To our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day and evening ahead. Namaste.